Former President Donald Trump last night already declaring victory in next month's contest in Nevada before anyone's even gone to the polls. Trump heads to Las Vegas this weekend, where it's a very different process this year with both a primary and a caucus. Joining us now from Las Vegas, Jon Ralston, CEO of the Nevada Independent and an MSNBC political analyst. John, great seeing you. So what's going on in Nevada? Why are Republicans having both a primary and caucuses?
Well, you're far from the only person asking that question, Jose. A lot of Republicans in this state are asking that question, too. To make it simple for everybody, the state has a primary that was passed in 2021 by the legislature. We used to be a caucus state, but it left open the possibility for the parties to decide for themselves how they were going to allocate delegates. The Republicans here in the party, which are controlled by Trump people, decided that they didn't want to take a chance on a primary which has same-day registration and everybody gets a mail ballot. And so being afraid, apparently, that Trump would not get as big a percentage as he could in a caucus controlled by the state party, they decided to break off. So now we have two elections. Republicans are very confused why they don't see Donald Trump on their primary ballot on February 6th, and that's because the state party forced candidates, including Trump, if they participate in the caucus on February 8th, they are not allowed to be on the primary ballot.
So who chooses and how is the choice made on, from a voter's perspective, whether they vote in a primary or the caucuses?
So voters can vote in either one that they want, Jose, or they can vote in both, believe it or not, if you want to be even more confused. The only delegates are being awarded in the caucus, which Trump is going to win in a landslide. He's only up against a long shot candidate named Ryan Binkley. And so there's also very little trust in the people who are running this caucus to run it fairly, because they're all in the tank for Trump. But I think Nikki Haley, who has described Nevada as not being fair and is ignoring the state, is making a huge mistake if she really is serious about staying in this race. As you mentioned, Trump is going to be here this weekend. Early voting for that primary actually starts on Saturday. Nikki Haley is going to win that primary unless the Republicans who support Trump can stop her. And they are trying to stop her by urging people, and this starts with the governor who endorsed Trump, to vote for this thing that we have in Nevada that is weird and only in Nevada, called none of these candidates. But Haley's going to get a headline probably on the night of February 6th that says Haley wins Nevada primary.
You just you're just to reaffirm what you said. So you could conceivably vote twice, one day and then 2 days later. Oh, boy. Well, anyway, let me ask you about this, John, because according to a Pew Research analysis, Latino voters make up about 22% of eligible voters in Nevada, the fourth highest in the country. What is driving Latino voters to the polls?
Well, as you know better than anybody, Jose, Latinos are not driven generally by the immigration issue. In the Republican side, to some extent, but they care about the economy. And as you know, the economy in Nevada got crushed more than disproportionate to almost any other economy in COVID, because they shut down the Las Vegas Strip, thus shutting down the Nevada economy. And a lot of Latinos work in the casinos, and those jobs did not all come back. And so they're worried about their economic lot. I think they think to some extent they've been taken advantage of or patronized by Democrats in this state who control the legislative process. And so that is a cohort that the Democrats here are going to have to work very, very hard to get back, both in the presidential race here and, as you know, we have a pivotal U.S. Senate race as well.
Indeed we do. Jon Ralston, always a pleasure to see you, my friend. Thank you.